I'm sorry, ma'am. This area is reserved for members only. You'll need to leave. The voice belonged to Kyle, a young white security guard at the New Haven Public Library, stiff in posture and loud enough for heads to turn. Seated in the corner, an elderly black woman looked up from her book. Her gray bun, worn cardigan, and silence made her invisible. Almost. No one recognized her. Not yet. She closed the book, The Stillness Between Us, and placed it gently in her tote bag. Then she stood and walked out without protest. But what no one realized was this. They had just told the author of the very book they all came to celebrate, to leave. Outside the members' lounge, Evelyn Grace stood alone beside the coffee station, her hands cradling a cup of lukewarm tea. Her tote bag, worn at the corners, rested by her feet. She didn't scan the room. Didn't seek validation. Just watched the crowd. Influencers posed for selfies with fresh copies of her book. College students quoted favorite lines aloud. Librarians chatted about diversity panels. And yet, the woman who wrote every word stood unnoticed, again. A woman in a cashmere scarf eyed her. "This table's for guests," she said sharply, gesturing with her coffee cup. "The real ones." Evelyn nodded silently and stepped back. Behind the velvet rope, Kyle spotted her again. He leaned toward an event staffer. "She's still here. Keeps lingering." The staffer looked toward Evelyn, then turned away. "She's harmless." But Kyle's eyes narrowed. "We might want to keep an eye." At that moment, Evelyn pulled out her handkerchief and gently wiped the dust from her book's gold-embossed title. Not a display, just a ritual, one that meant more to her than the crowd could guess. Near the west window, she sat down again, on the edge of a planter, not a reserved chair. Her fingers trembled, not from age, but memory. Across the room, a young woman named Lila clutched her signed copy. She had seen that handwriting before. And something inside her whispered. That woman might not just be a reader. But recognition would take more than a glance. It would take courage to name what no one else dared say. The speaker's voice echoed across the atrium. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to begin our exclusive author meet and greet in the members' lounge. Please have your books and tickets ready." Excitement surged. Phones raised. Staff adjusted velvet ropes. And just as Evelyn took a slow step toward the exit, Kyle reappeared. "You again," he snapped, stepping in front of her. "I already asked you to leave. You're making people uncomfortable." Before Evelyn could respond, a voice cut through, clear and trembling. "She's not making me uncomfortable. You are." Lila stepped forward, holding her book open to the signature. "This woman is Evelyn Grace. The Evelyn Grace. She wrote The Stillness Between Us." The room stilled. Eyes turned. Someone gasped. From the back, a coordinator in a navy blazer rushed forward. "Ma'am, are you saying you're Eve Grace?" Evelyn reached into her tote and pulled out a first edition, signed in gold ink. For those still listening. E. Grace. It was real. The hush deepened. No more whispering. No more doubt. The woman they'd dismissed, silenced, ignored, had just spoken without raising her voice. And the silence now? It belonged to her. The event coordinator's eyes welled up. "We thought it was a hoax. You never responded. We didn't know you were real." "I was tired of being rejected," Evelyn said softly. "So I let the words speak for me." From the crowd, a gray-haired professor pushed forward. "Evelyn Grace. Midtown Writers Circle. You mentored me in '99. More heads turned. Kyle stammered. "I didn't know." Lila stepped in. "That's the problem. You never cared to ask." Then a new voice rang out, steady, official. Claudia Reese, the library's director of programming, held up a folder. We owe this woman more than an apology. She opened it. A year of complaints. Targeting elderly patrons. Racial profiling. Ignoring protocol. Kyle stiffened. Claudia turned to Evelyn. You came through our doors many times. Kind. Quiet. Invisible, because we refused to see. Evelyn nodded once. You weren't ready. From the side, a veteran stepped forward, hand trembling. You wrote me during the war. Your words helped me survive. He pulled out a yellowed letter. The same looping signature, e.g. Evelyn's breath caught. And in that moment, her silence was no longer emptiness. It was memory. It was truth. The host stepped to the mic, voice reverent. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present the true author of The Stillness Between Us, Evelyn Grace. Applause swelled. Not loud, but weighty, like breath held too long, now released. Evelyn walked toward the stage, but Claudia stopped her with a gift, a brass nameplate. Evelyn Grace, author in residence. For the first time, Claudia said, we want this library to be your home. Evelyn touched the nameplate, eyes misted. I've always been home. You just didn't see me. She reached the podium. Adjusted the mic. I didn't write to be famous. I wrote to survive, she said, voice steady. I've been turned away from too many rooms, because I'm old, black, or don't look like a writer. But I kept writing. And I kept walking. She glanced at Kyle. You all read my words and said, this author understands me. But would you have said that, if you saw my face first? No answer. Just stillness. Later, Kyle brought a folding chair and placed it beside her. Evelyn nodded. Then quietly asked Claudia, leave this chair by the window. No plaque. No sign. Just, let it be there. For the next invisible one. And in that gesture, she rewrote belonging.